Imagine standing in the middle of a desert, watching your last hope, your last dollar, turn into a ball of fire. For most people, the year 2008 was a global financial crisis, but for Elon Musk, it was the end of the world. At that moment, he had $0 in his personal bank account. His wife had just left him, and they were in the middle of a painful divorce. To make matters worse, his third rocket, the Falcon 1, had just exploded over the Pacific Ocean. The world wasn't just watching him fail, the world was laughing at him. The press called him a dreamer who had run out of luck. He was broke, he was lonely, and he was completely broken. But inside this wreckage, something was still burning. Not a rocket engine, but a fire that had started 30 years ago in a place far away from Silicon Valley. How did he survive? How did a man who was literally sleeping on his friends' couches because he couldn't pay rent become the man who would eventually own the future? To understand the man who wants to conquer Mars, we must first look at the boy who was conquered by his own classmates. Pretoria, South Africa in the 1970s. Young Elon didn't have many friends. He had books. While other kids were out playing sports, Elon was reading the Encyclopedia Britannica for 10 hours a day. He was a know-it-all, and in a world of tough kids, that made him a constant target. The bullying wasn't just verbal, it was violent. One afternoon, a group of boys cornered him, threw him down a flight of concrete stairs, and beat him until he was unconscious. He woke up in a hospital. His nose was permanently damaged, and his body was bruised, but they couldn't touch his mind. That mind became his escape. At the age of 17, he left South Africa for North America with nothing but a suitcase and a dream. He worked in cold boilers, shoveling dirt for $18 an hour. He lived on less than $1 a day, eating nothing but hot dogs and oranges. He wasn't looking for a comfortable life, he was looking for a way to change the world. Then came the turning point. After years of relentless work, Elon co-founded PayPal. When the company was sold, Elon Musk received a check for $180 million. Now, think about that. For 99% of people, this is the end of the struggle. This is the moment you buy a private island, a fleet of luxury cars, and retire. But Elon Musk is not like most people. He did something that his friends, his family, and every expert in the world called insane. He took every single penny he owned and put it back into the fire. He bet his entire life on two impossible dreams, a rocket company and an electric car company. He went from having $180 million to having nearly nothing in a matter of months. He was back at the edge of the cliff, and the fall was about to get much, much worse. When Elon Musk received that $180 million check from PayPal, the world thought he had made it. But Elon wasn't looking for a finish line. He was looking for a starting block. He took $100 million and started SpaceX. He took $70 million and invested it into Tesla. He even put $10 million into SolarCity. Do the math. 100 plus 70 plus 10. That is $180 million. He had literally $0 left for himself. He had to borrow money from friends just to pay the rent for his house. Every expert in the industry told him he was making a mistake. They said the rocket business is a graveyard for billionaires, and electric cars will never work. But Elon didn't listen. He was driven by a vision that was bigger than money. However, vision doesn't pay the bills, and it certainly doesn't stop rockets from exploding. By 2008, the dream had turned into a nightmare. SpaceX attempted its first launch. It failed. They tried a second time. It failed again. Then came the third launch. This was the one they had worked on for years. Elon's entire team was watching. The rocket lifted off, the world held its breath, and then silence. The third rocket had exploded. This is the point where the sense of dread truly set in. Elon wasn't just losing money, he was losing his mind. He describes this period as eating glass and staring into the abyss. His hands would shake during meetings. He was waking up in cold sweats, realizing that he was just weeks away from losing everything. At the same time, Tesla was dying. The company was burning through cash, and the global economy was crashing. Nobody wanted to invest in a failing car company or a rocket business that couldn't reach space. Elon was facing a choice that no human should ever have to make. He had a small amount of money left, his very last few millions. He could either split the money between SpaceX and Tesla and hope they both survive, or he could put it all into one and let the other one die. It was like choosing which of your children should live. His personal life was in ruins. The stress of the business had destroyed his marriage. He was being attacked in the newspapers every single day. People called him a fraud. They called him a failure. Even his own heroes, the astronauts he admired as a kid, spoke out against him, saying that SpaceX was a waste of time. Imagine that! Your heroes hate you, your wife has left you, your bank account is empty, and your rockets are falling from the sky. Most people would have quit. Most people would have crumbled under that pressure. But as the clock ticked toward the end of 2008, Elon Musk decided to make one last desperate move. He gathered every remaining cent he could find. He sold his cars, his personal items, everything. He decided to try one fourth and final launch. If this rocket failed, SpaceX was dead. Tesla was dead, and the name Elon Musk would go down in history as the biggest failure Silicon Valley had ever seen. The stage was set for the darkest hour. There was no backup plan, no safety net. It was all or nothing. It was September 2008. The air at the Kwajalein Atoll launch site was heavy, not just with heat, but with the weight of a man's entire life. This was Flight 4. If this rocket didn't reach orbit, SpaceX would cease to exist by the next morning. But here is the secret that most people don't know. Elon Musk didn't have a backup plan, he had a commitment plan. While the world saw a billionaire playing with rockets, his team saw a man who had moved his entire life into the office. He was working 20 hours a day, solving engineering problems that experts said were impossible. The countdown began. 10, 9, 8. Elon was in the control room, his face pale, his heart racing. He knew that if this failed, he wouldn't just be broke, he would be a laughingstock for the rest of his life. 3, 2, 1. Liftoff. The Falcon 1 roared into the sky. It passed the first stage, it passed the second stage, and then, for the first time in history, a privately built liquid-fueled rocket reached Earth's orbit. The room erupted. People were screaming, crying, and hugging each other. But Elon, he was in a state of shock. He later said the tears were just pouring down. This wasn't just a technical victory, it was a financial miracle. Within days, the impossible happened. NASA, impressed by the success, called Elon with a $1.5 billion contract to resupply the International Space Station. Suddenly, SpaceX went from being a joke to being the future of space exploration. But the miracles didn't stop there. It was Christmas Eve 2008. Tesla was literally hours away from bankruptcy. Elon was trying to put together a final funding round from investors who were terrified of the economic crash. At the very last hour, on the very last day of the year, the deal went through. Tesla was saved. Elon Musk had gone from the brink of total destruction to owning the two most important companies on the planet. So why are we telling you this story today? Why does it matter to you, sitting there, perhaps facing your own struggles? It matters because we all have our third failed launch. We all have moments where our bank account is empty, our relationships are failing, and it feels like the whole world is laughing at our dreams. In those moments, you have two choices. You can accept the failure, or you can find the courage for your fourth launch. Elon Musk's life proves that persistence is not just a word, it is a superpower. Persistence is the ability to keep going when everyone else tells you to stop. It is the fire that burns brighter when the world tries to blow it out. Today, Elon Musk is the richest man in the world, building cities for Mars and changing how we drive on Earth. But remember, he isn't special because of his money. He's extraordinary because he refused to give up when he had nothing. The next time you feel like quitting, think of Elon in 2008. Think of the man who lost everything but never lost his vision. Your success is not determined by how many times you fall, but by how many times you are willing to get back up. What is the one dream you are ready to fight for? What is your fourth launch? If this story inspired you to keep going, type the word persistence in the comments below. Let us know that you are not giving up. This is English Tide. Keep learning, keep growing, and never stop launching.